basketball is sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Does it get any better than Friday night in Hinkle Fieldhouse? We've got two of the best teams in the conference. The Butler Bulldogs taking on the Marquette Golden Eagles. Welcome courtside at Hinkle Fieldhouse. I'm Matt Schumacher. She is Monica McNutt. And Monica, both teams on 3-game win streaks. They've done it in different ways. Marquette, one of the most efficient scoring teams in the conference. Butler, a gritty defensive team as always. What does this one come down to tonight?
I think it's going to be transition and turnovers. Both of these teams want to get up and down the floor, but who has the speed and who will get fatigued? And then who can hold on to the basketball, Matt?
Somebody who is built for the transition game. You're a big fan, Selena Lott.
Selena Lott has been tremendous. She's grown a lot this year. She has the ball in her hands. She's responsible for scoring. She gets up and down the floor and runs the lane with the best of them in the Big East. She's able to move without the basketball and find her teammates. Big East Player of the Week. In her last 2 games, she shot about 60% from the field. She's very, very smart. On the other end, for the home team, Kristen Spolyar really gets it done for the Bulldogs. Coach Godlewski told me when she's playing well, our team is playing well. She told me that the key to this game is to execute the game plan, focus on defense, and also get out in transition.
The winner of this one tonight could very well find themselves in the top 3 in the conference. We've got a good one coming up from the Cathedral of College Hoops after this.
Easy.
Friday night in Hinkle Fieldhouse and the cowbell in the band student section. It doesn't get any better than that. Our starting lineup sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Selena Lott, of course, one of the best players in the conference. Kristen Spolyar. Who's somebody else you're looking at in the starting 5 for both teams?
Well, Lauren Van Clunen for Marquette, because I think she does a great job of getting the ball inside and then finding. She's a willing passer for that group. And then on the other side, it's got to be Toure. She's considered the X Factor. Multiple girls told me that. X Factor.
The last time these teams met, Marquette was 11th in the country. Butler took them down 61-57. It was the biggest win in Butler program history. It snapped a 9-game losing streak against Marquette.
I remember that last season. We were in the throes of Big East hoops, and everybody turned their head on that one.
There is Van Clunen right away off the tip and straight to the rack.
Do I look smart?
Yes.
Thanks, Matt.
Compliments all night. Right inside to Spolyar through contact. How about it?
I actually thought she got away with a couple extra steps there, but that's one thing that Krista can do. She talked about the versatility of this group. No one is glued to any one particular position.
Spolyar averaging a Big East third, 18 points per game. Anderson fouled on the floor. Butler led by 6th-year head coach Kurt Godlewski, who said that win against Marquette last season when they were ranked number 11 was the greatest win he's ever been part of as a coach. And then on the other side, first-year head coach Megan Duffy coming over from Miami of Ohio. And she led the Hawks to 2 straight trips to the WNIT in back-to-back 20-win seasons.
She's tremendous. I love Megan Duffy. I remember her as an assistant at Notre Dame back in the day.
She could also play ball at Notre Dame.
A little bit talented for sure. We just love what both of these coaches bring to their program. They're all about making sure that their players are confident.
Catstrong runner, too strong, and hauled in by Lauren Van Clunen.
So far, we talked about transition basketball, Matt, and it seems, I would say that this pace probably favors Butler.
Anderson off the mark. And now here come the Dogs in transition. Spolier.
I would have loved to see her go for the pull-up there. She definitely has that in her repertoire. I think she was a little bit indecisive.
Marquette, one of the most efficient scoring teams in the conference and in the country. And meanwhile, Butler, one of the best defensive teams in the country and certainly in the conference, averaging less than 60 points per game. You look at the numbers, though, Monica, there's not a whole lot that separates these two teams. Very similar across the board.
Yeah, you got to bear in mind, though, scoring margin can be a little bit of a confusing number. It can be slightly deceiving because Marquette is going to run the score up a little bit more than Butler is. Now, the margin doesn't look that different, but it's a far lower scoring game when you talk about Butler, who's only, averaging about 57 points per game.
The Dogs' MO, especially under Kurt Godlewski over the last few seasons, has been to grind it out, to manufacture wins, to play ugly, and to make you play ugly. Lots. No good, and Spolier corrals.
100%, Matt. You're absolutely right on their style of basketball. But it's funny, as you talk to them, I talked with both Kristen and Catstrong today, they take so much pride in what they do defensively.
Just so tough. Made it really tough on a 12th-ranked Indiana team a couple of weeks ago right here in this building as Van Clunen is now 2 for 2.
Beneficiary of that secondary break. But if you watch Marquette over the course of this basketball game, they don't dribble the ball up when they can just kick it ahead.
Spolier attacking and through contact. Got it.
She does the little things in her game. She opted to keep her dribble alive throughout that possession. You saw earlier, although the first transition basket didn't fall, a little bit of a hesitation, a subtle move, but it gets her to the rim.
How about that move from Anderson? Just a little too heavy.
Yeah, Atia Anderson has great size. She's got great hands. She's quick off the floor in terms of her bounce.
Parker leaves it short and tipped into the hands of Selena Lott, and Marquette has numbers. Lott, coast to coast. Back and forth we go in Hinkle Fieldhouse.
You know, speed kills, Matt. We got to see who this speed is going to catch up with first.
You know, for all the talk about Butler's defense, this year Marquette has really bought into being defensive-minded because they've had to.
Indeed.
A lot of new faces.
Indeed, and Coach Duffy talked with us about that. You lose folks like Natisha Heidemann last season, you essentially have a very different roster.
3 to shoot. Spolier from downtown.
You love a little rhythm bounce. Step into your shot.
Spolier has all 7 points for Butler.
Out of bounds, the Golden Eagles. Bulldog substitution.
Transition basketball. Lauren Van Clunen running the floor very well. That's 2 passes in a basket. And then Kristen Spolier keeping her dribble alive inside of the contact. And then a little rhythm dribble. You fly by. This goes up and down.
You love the transition game.
I love. If I was a coach, my team would be in the best shape ever. We're just running up and down the floor.
Would you defend?
We would defend. We would probably defend you 3-quarter court, a la my former Georgetown days.
Butler coming off a big win against your Hoyas the other night.
Yeah, and it wasn't the most attractive basketball we'll go with. But Coach talked about it showing him something about his team that they could defend. As you see Shea Bry there getting her hand on the ball. That's some defense for you, blocking shots.
And Kurt Godlewski said, you know, that win showed us that, A, we can close a game even when we're not shooting the ball well. They only made 5 field goals in the second half of that game at Georgetown.
I noticed. Not pretty. But, you know, if you can stop teams from scoring, and Georgetown struggled to score as well, you only need 1 more point, literally.
Extra pass from Saris. Air ball. And back to Marquette.
This, you know, we talk about this particular matchup, and it is well documented, at least in the Big East, that Butler defensively forces folks to the baseline where they have their help. In the last 2 matchups for Marquette, they love that baseline penetration and hammer action to a shooter in the corner. So essentially, Butler is designed to take away what Marquette loves.
Here's a shot from Cameron Taylor and into the hands of Spingola. Taylor, one of 6 freshmen. Here's another. Jordan King on the pull-up. And a third opportunity. Spingola on the board, but coughs it up.
Both teams a little cold. It is a little cold here in Indy, man, I must admit.
Winter weather advisory. Spolier, heat check. Spingola right into the hands of Nauticus Saris.
Great defensive play by Saris, like a cornerback sitting back there waiting.
And Spolier doing what she does best, drawing a foul. She'll head to the line when we come back.
Kristen Spolier, third in the Big East in scoring. She can do it inside. She can do it outside. You better find a way to guard her, folks.
Saturday.
Future Big East Hoopers in stands tonight, perhaps.
Potentially, sure.
7-4 lead for Butler early. All 7 points scored by Kristen Spolier. As you take a look at the Big East standings coming into the evening, it's a big weekend of Big East hoops. Marquette and Butler tied right now, and the winner of this game could really find themselves at the end of the weekend in the top 3, which is saying something because Marquette was picked 9th in the preseason.
It's a big weekend for both of these squads, but you know, I think we're seeing this across college basketball, period. Men, women, conferences, there's so much parity. There's just so much parity, and so it speaks to the job that Coach Duffy has done with this squad, that they're in this position. And obviously, we know that Butler has been formidable in this conference.
But both teams doing it in a different way this season, just because they lost so much of who they were from a year ago. Both teams losing over 50% of their scoring from a season ago.
Yeah, and not just the scoring itself, right? Because in theory, you could make up for the scoring, but it's who they lost. I mean, both are without what would be considered their closers from last year. Whitney Jennings is now an assistant for Butler. Natisha Heidemann in particular stands out from that Marquette squad, obviously on to the WNBA and professionally overseas.
From that Marquette squad, they lost 3 1,300-point scorers and a 2,000-point scorer in Alizea Blockton. But more than that, you're right, just the sheer experience alone Their starting five was essentially starting for 4 consecutive seasons.
I mean, and we're talking about those players in particular, and Coach Duffy has done a tremendous job, but even adjusting to a new coach, right? Like, there was a lot of transition happening in Milwaukee.
There is Whitney Jennings, a 1,000-point scorer at Butler in just 2 seasons.
Tremendous.
Bucket getter.
Bucket getter, assist, captain. I talked with Catstrong and Kristen about, literally that was your teammate. Like, that's your teammate last year. Now she's your coach. Right. So what has that balance been like? And Cat in particular said she loved having her around. This game is the anniversary of Catstrong's knee injury last season, and she missed last season. And so she talked about how Whitney has been so important in helping her gain her confidence and talking her through that process.
Just a quick shot clock issue. It was at 20. It's been reset to 12 in Butler basketball. Parker wide open. And into the hands of Atuso. Fresh shot clock for Butler.
Butler has to put pressure on Marquette by attacking the paint. There it is, Genesis Parker.
Toure, walled off, loose ball, 4 to shoot, Saris. And finally scooped up by Marquette. 3 chances and nothing for Butler. And here is another one of the 6 freshmen, Narelle Lubo, checking in for the first time.
I really like what Lubo brings when she steps into the game. In that Seton Hall matchup, she came in to give both Lott and King a breather at different points, and she pushes that tempo for Marquette. Now, this is where it's going to be interesting. They do a great job. Lauren Van Clunen, in particular, they do a great job of that high post action or mid post action, as you saw there.
Knocked out of bounds. Then it goes back to Butler. Marquette on a 4+ minute scoring drought.
We've had a lot of turnovers in this ball game.
4 for Marquette, just 1 for Butler.
Make that 2.
Yeah, there's another one for the Dogs. Marquette desperately needs a bucket here.
Yeah, they have not been able to get out in transition as they like. Credit Butler for that.
Lubo off the mark. Tipped around and right into the hands of the freshman Cameron Taylor, and finally Marquette breaks the drought.
Yeah, Cameron Taylor. I wish we had a sound effect for X Factor. Like when the X Factor player does something, Coach Duffy said that freshman would be her X Factor. And if she can get the kind of production that she gave this team in their last victory, then this team would be something to deal with.
Atuso driving and drawing a foul.
There's so much action in the paint. The shot goes up. You've got multiple bodies crashing offensive rebounds, and then Cameron Taylor ultimately comes up with a great awareness of where she was under the basket.
2 shots for Upe Atuso.
Atuso at the line to shoot 2.
Who is dealing with a bit of a learning curve in conference play. Last 5 games has scored just 5 points total. And that was after she was averaging near double figures in the non-conference. One of a couple of transfers coming over from a junior college. So there's always that learning curve, right? You're playing in a very competitive conference.
100%, and it's not just for freshmen. I mean, whether it be you transfer from a junior college, another school, learning a new system, coming back from injury, so much of the game, not just a single basketball game, but the season has its ebbs and flows.
Taylor again down low. Saris altering the shot.
Great job of Saris getting there and walling her up. Bodies on the floor. You love to see it, Schumacher.
Butler has just been tenacious defensively so far tonight.
They do a great job of communicating. We haven't gotten a lot of penetration from behind the three-point line from this Marquette squad, but even as the basketball is moving, they're getting to the spots. They're communicating. It's almost as if they're connected by a string.
Upe Atuso has been huge for Butler, even though she hasn't been scoring the basketball. A tremendous communicator on defense. And, you know, one of the players that Butler lost last year was Michelle Weaver, who was Defensive Player of the Year. And Atuso has come in and sort of filled that void defensively.
Listen, those are huge shoes filled by Michelle Weaver. If she was still on this roster, there would be no doubt that she would be defending Selena Lott.
Great ball movement and into Chloe Murata, her first points of the contest, and it's back to a 1-possession game.
That high-low action, getting to that low block on the paint for this Golden Eagles squad has served them really, really well.
Wide open, Bry. Too hot to handle. Marquette's moved the ball well the last couple of possessions.
Indeed. Let's count the passes. 1, 2. You've got Murata diving to the basket. That's 3 passes, a pump fake, and a basket. You know, you Indiana folks love this Hoosiers thing. Our fantastic producer, Mark Buck, is in my ear, folks. Wants me to give you all the Hoosier references.
He loves Hinklefield House.
This is a cool place.
The smell of the popcorn, the nostalgia, the history.
I love it. I appreciate it. I'm not going to be a hater on Hinkle.
It's growing on you.
It's charming. You
can appreciate it despite going to a different Big East school.
Okay. Thank you for giving me permission to do that, Schumacher. I needed that.
Then Clunin fighting for the rebound with Christian Spolier. It'll stay with Marquette. It's been a physical ball game so far.
It has indeed, and that's one way to disrupt transition, cause a team to exert so much energy in the half court that their legs start to get a little bit heavy.
Marquette shooting 20% under their season average, and yet they trail by just 2.
The baskets that they have gotten have been very smart and efficient baskets. So we'll see which one is going to cave first. Will it be the Butler defense, or will Marquette turn back to its seasonal numbers?
Lott rolls it down, and finally the first points of the night for Selena Lott.
She does a great job of attacking the rim, whether it be in the half court. She loves coming off that screen action or out in transition, which we highlighted in our opening.
And now Lott all over Kristen Spolier. What a fun matchup tonight.
Love that defensive matchup there. Love it offensively as well.
And a charge drawn by Lauren Van Clunin.
Catstrong just gets a little bit ahead of herself, but Selena Lott, left hand, attacking the paint, curling. She just got the angle. She got the jump on Genesis Parker, and then there was no help by the Bulldogs.
The face of grit and determination. They're not going to make it easy on her tonight.
Not at all. And, you know, we probably have not seen that as much because of the Butler scheme, which forces folks to the baseline.
Tie ball game for the first time since it was 2-2 in the first minute of the contest.
Spolier, great job moving your feet there.
Anderson pull up.
I love that shot from Anderson, though. That time a little bit rushed.
And the shot clock turned off. One final possession for Butler in the first quarter.
Parker taking a lot of time here.
Parker driving, closed off. Spolier heaves. And that is how we end the first quarter. A well-defended first 10 minutes from both sides.
If I had to say who got the edge, it would be the Butler Bulldogs. But we're going to come back and find out who wins the second quarters. It's like we're just starting again, man. I love it.
I'm your mother-in-law.
Tied at 10 after 10. Here's what head coach Kurt Godlewski had to say in the Butler huddle.
Not playing that jersey anymore. Just do the little stuff right. Compete as hard as she is on the glass. We're going to be just fine.
Getting gaps defensively. Okay? They've turned the corner a couple times on us, and we didn't have anybody in the gap jamming it. Okay?
5 offensive rebounds for them now. 0 when we talked about it, 5 now.
Remember what we talked about?
Getting in the gap was the exact basket that Selena Lott scored her first point on. Following that possession, I believe it was Tia Anderson who got into the paint for the pull-up. So this Butler squad is really focused on forcing folks to the baseline. And if not, you got to close up those gaps. When you look at points in the paint, Marquette has 10 compared to Butler's 4. So if they are able to get in the paint, Butler could find himself in a tough position.
And 6 of those 10 points coming on second chance opportunities because of those 5 offensive rebounds. Parker with a hand in her face. Rebound Anderson. And gives it up to Selena Lott.
Watch how Butler defends the high-low.
Lott driving and right to the cup with the left hand.
Probably not what Coach Godlewski was looking for. Tori probably should have stepped into that gap.
One thing that Megan Duffy said she's been so impressed by with regards to her team's performance this year, their ability to adapt in-game to however the game is being played.
I asked her for 2 words about her squad, and she said relentless growth. And so that speaks to that, right? You're able to move quickly and process. Let's go back and look at what Selena Lott does. Genesis Parker is playing fantastic defense. Lott rejects the screen. Tori, you see, reach with her left hand as opposed to actually sliding over and closing the gap.
That's what veteran players do, right?
I see what you're giving me. I'm going to tell you what I want to take.
Selena Lott started the game 0 for 4. She's now got 4 points and a couple of boards.
It's just a matter of time for Lott, just by virtue of her game. It's not. She can shoot the 3.
How about that 3?
Kristen Spoliar can shoot the 3 as well.
And now she's in double figures with 11. Good feed inside to Murata, but too heavy.
Butler really lucked out on that initial basket, but then it's Anderson, Tia Anderson, Johnny on the spot with the offensive rebound and the putback.
6th offensive rebound. 8th second chance points. And Anderson doing it on both sides of the floor. Here comes Lott.
A little bit ahead of herself. Smart to gather, though.
Spingola.
Spingola loves that 3 on the wing and head down to that corner.
Parker feeding Spoliar, and she's not going to miss that often.
Contact does not faze Kristen Spoliar at all. Great pass by Genesis Parker, penetrating deep enough to make the defense make a tough choice.
Murata dumping it down to Anderson, too hot on the pass.
Ironically, is ironically the right word? Kristen Spoliar coming off that baseline, curl, footwork. Man, I tell you, 10,000 reps, says Malcolm Gladwell. And then in transition, Genesis Parker attacking that defense. Spoliar understanding her angles.
Also in for Marquette, Cameron Taylor returns.
And with that last bucket, Kristen Spoliar now over 1,300 career points in a Butler uniform.
Man, she's having a great run here, both on the court and in the classroom. We had an opportunity to talk about buckets and brains a little bit earlier.
Spoliar defended tightly. Lott wanted it to go the other way, but it'll stay on this side. 10 on the timer for the Dogs.
It's always worth a try. Marquette sticking with the man-to-man defense. Doubling on the inbound here.
Spoliar curling, spinning, and dropping it down for 2.
The young lady got skills, y'all. It was almost a fumbled pass, but Spoliar first able to gather the pass and then able to finish in traffic.
Spoliar has 15 of Butler's 17 points.
Now that is a little bit concerning, but for right now, they're in it, so you keep going to her. She's got the hot hand.
And a foul on the floor. How about the footwork?
They tell you the inbounds person is actually the most dangerous. She gathers, has the wherewithal not to travel, keeps her dribble alive, drop step essentially through 3 jerseys. Count them, 1, 2, 3. There's only 1 white jersey and 1 basket, 2 points.
Tipped away by Atuso. And an over and back. You know, you talk about Kristen Spoliar. She's a senior, right? She's one of the veterans of this team. Has always been a bucket getter.
Bucket getter, certified.
But Kurt Godlewski said that she's now become a 3-level scoring threat, not just a bully ball scorer where she tries to put her head down and go through you. She can really do it in a lot of different ways.
There's far more touch to her game, right? That would be an area I would say she's grown from her junior to senior year, as Butler comes up short on that possession as well. Because you're right, last year it was the grit, right? It was bully ball, but you define it as grit. She's just so tough.
How about that toughness underneath? Altia Anderson, a chance at the 3-piece.
I tell you what, around the basketball, Anderson is, around the rim, in the paint, able to work that sort of short corner area, right where that restricted area is. Look how she splits the defense. She's able to use her length, timing, understanding touch off the glass, and that's the transition basketball that we talk about Celine a lot being great in, not just as a scorer, but also heads-up plays and passes to her teammates.
Before this season, Anderson averaged 6 minutes per game in her first 3 seasons on campus. This year, she's averaging over 20.
I mean, we mentioned it already, right? The talent, the amount of scoring that was lost with last year's senior class. And Coach Duffy, she shared that with me. She said it was about instilling confidence in these kids when I got here because they did not play.
Incidental contact and a charge off the ball. That was on Kristen Spoliar.
Wow. Atia Anderson is standing there. Check out the free throw line.
That's a veteran play.
Yeah, but yeah, Spoliar's got to see that though.
She was looking for the ball.
She was looking for the ball. Give me a half a step over and around, right? Can't just clean run her over. A little bit of that bully ball returning.
Lott 4 points on 2 for 6. Still over from downtown.
Baseline penetration. Butler does a great job of shutting that down.
King, the freshman. And into the hands of Kristen Spoliar. Here comes the senior.
Marquette does a great job of matching up. You see Nauticus is working on the block. She has the height advantage over Jordan King. Oh boy, gotta stay on the floor though. Stay up on your feet rather.
Atuso, defended by Lott. Spoliar now with the left hand. And a kiss off the glass.
Using the glass is so underrated. There's so much room for error. She's got such great touch. But honestly, you got to give Atuso credit, Upe Atuso, for setting that one up. She kept her dribble alive.
And Tori deflects it out of bounds. It'll stay here. 17 points for Kristen Spoliar. She's averaging 18 per game.
Feels like a career kind of night, huh?
We've got 5 minutes left in the first half.
I mean, this has to be maddening to a degree for Coach Duffy. Literally, if you stop her.
Altia Anderson, unstoppable so far in the first half. She's got 7.
She's long, she's lean, she sort of slips through that defense. You would have thought that would have been a trap there. That's the second time now she split 2 defenders and managed to score in the paint.
And now she's over her season average of just over 6 points per game. Spoliar, dribble drive. Silky smooth from the senior.
I admired her nail polish after shoot around today. It's a great shade, and we both agreed that your nails have to be done so your follow-through looks good.
And now the buckets are falling on both sides. Tied at 21, under 5 to go in the first half.
We'll see if Butler can maintain their defensive constitution. That time, Cameron Taylor just streaking, and it was late. It wasn't even really in transition.
Spoliar fighting for a board and through contact.
It's that kind of day, Schumacher. It is that kind of day.
The bottom of the cup has a magnet attracting the ball when it leaves Spoliar's hand.
She's definitely put in the time and really worked at her game.
She is 9 for 12 with 21 points.
Does it get better than that? And she's cleaning up the boards offensively and defensively.
5 rebounds now.
Whoever draws her defensively, now we've got to switch as a Tia Anderson. We'll see if this athleticism bothers her a bit more. You got to take this on your chin if you're the defender guarding her. I'm going to be the one to slow her down.
Bit of a mismatch there, too. Spoiler a good 3 inches shorter than Anderson. Stop it.
We need a camera on the table right now because Matt and I are in as much disbelief as folks at home probably. Wow, have a day.
Fans are loving this right now.
This is fantastic.
It's like a game of horse, but in the game.
In the game. Match that.
King.
Wow.
And now Kristen Spoiler into the cookie jar and all the way to the cup. Left it a little too heavy.
Heat check. We'll call it that.
Saris defended by Lott and fouled.
Man.
And it's been all Spoiler all night.
Literally, it has been all Spoiler. She's scoring in all types of ways. A little bit of a pump fake. I'm going to get to the biggies. Left hand, 3 defenders, no matter. Count the basket.
My girl, Kristen Spoiler, is on one tonight. 23 of Butler's 25 points, eclipsing the 1,300 career point mark tonight. And if that's not enough, partner, she's also putting the student in student athlete, a 3.5 GPA, healthcare management, biology, you name it, far better than what I did in college.
Me too. I agree.
I also like that she likes to cook primarily breakfast food. I can get down with that.
Listen, we were doing this interview, and let me tell you, I think it's fitting the kind of day that she's having. First, she said, I can cook anything. Anything. Then she clarified that she enjoys breakfast, but she also is the one that cooks on holidays for her family. That is pressure.
That's
Holiday
an all-American right there.
Listen.
Academic Ambition, sponsored by SoFi. Get your money right all in one app. You and I can both agree. Breakfast is the meal of the day.
Breakfast is the most important meal. I stray away from traditional breakfast foods. I love it all. But
Interesting.
as long as it's a good breakfast.
See, I don't eat breakfast until noon every day. But I skip lunch.
Okay.
I just do breakfast food as my lunch. Omelet every single day.
I don't skip any meals.
I have to keep the weight off because otherwise I'll eat everything.
I was just about to say, I think that's why you look like you and I look like me.
Stop it. Hey, let's get back to the ball game.
Let's do it. The Kristen Spolier Show.
Selena Lotto at the line. And she's got to get going, partner, because she is the scoring catalyst and really the playmaking catalyst for this Marquette team. 2 fouls now on Toure, sending Lot to the line. How can she get going to end the second quarter?
So much of what Selena does comes in transition. And we talked about it. The Butler scheme is to protect the middle. She loves to penetrate, going middle. And if she does go baseline, a thing that these Golden Eagles love is that hammer action to a shooter on the opposite side. And Butler's done a great job of taking that away. We'll see if she presses the issue in terms of getting up and down the floor and helping this whole Golden Eagles squad get going in transition.
Spolier step back, blocked by Anderson. There's the length of Altia Anderson.
Good switch defensively by Coach Duffy.
Strong had it jarred loose. Now a 2-on-1. Lot drawing contact.
Well,
that is the second on Spolier.
She cannot afford to have foul trouble. With 2:21 to go in the second quarter, she's okay here, but the defensive intensity of the Golden Eagles. First it was Altia Anderson with the block that set that one up, and then Selena Lott in transition. I'm not mad at that foul. The rule is if you're going to foul, don't give up the layup. So I'll take it.
No easy buckets.
No easy buckets.
That was like a hit we might see on our NFL Sunday coming up.
I was thinking that. She's fortunate that was D. Cantor, our lead official, who is a vet, did, it's a basketball play, even though it was a little aggressive.
And now Lott getting into the scoring column. She's got 8. Scoring her last 4 points at the free throw line. We've got a great officiating crew. D. Cantor, Frank Sterator, Brandon Interline.
Watch the screen action on the baseline.
Genesis Parker through contact and a chance at the three-point play. That's the first bucket by a player not named Kristen Spolier for Butler.
Welcome to the party, the rest of the team. Little baseline penetration. Isabel Spingola out of position. Genesis Parker finishing through contact again using the glass.
Another one of those Butler transfers. Began her career at Virginia Tech, then spent a season at Cincinnati. Finally has found a home at Butler because Kurt Godlewski said she's able to play freely, make mistakes, grow through them, but also her teammates complement the style of play that she wants to play.
Indeed, indeed. And she can get the ball up and down the floor just as quick as any of the guards in this conference. But Whitney Jennings actually talked about her commitment on defense ratcheting up here as of late.
Anderson. King, extra pass. Right back into Anderson. Well defended by Strong. And into the hands of Shea Bryant.
A perfect defensive possession for the Butler Bulldogs. They were moving, and even though 2 white jerseys went out to the corner to defend the potential three-point shot, Strong recovered and was able to defend Altia Anderson in the paint.
Spolier giving it off and off the mark. Another long stretch without a field goal for Marquette. 3 minutes and counting. Inside to Van Clunen and rolls out. And a foul on the floor goes against Marquette, so a Butler ball. Oh, that's just tough.
Very tough because it was a beautiful cut by Lauren Van Clunen, and the ball danced on that rim, and it just did not give a Marquette bounce as they are the away team. But it was a great cut, and in fact, Atuso, look at Lauren's reaction there, kind of disgusted with herself with the layup. But she was pretty much open.
Spolier tried to draw a foul. Nothing from the referees. Shot clock did not reset. Atuso spinning and picked up the pivot foot, whistled for the walk.
I am surprised as D. Cantor is communicating with Kristen Spoyer about verticality. Atia Anderson did a good job of going straight up, and Kristen tried to draw that contact. That is no longer a call.
Something she does very well. Spingola was open for a flash. Instead it goes back out to Locke. King tries a three. And now the shot clock turned off for Kristen Spoyer. Parker looking for a signal from the sideline. She's got to go quickly. 6 to shoot. Atuso rattles out strong on the second chance. No good. And that is how we end the half. A 4-point Butler lead. Here is what is coming up on the Jeep halftime report. Rob Stone reporting live from the studio in LA. Plus first half highlights and stats right back here at the table with Monica and I. We've got a good one in the first half. 20 minutes down at Hinkle Fieldhouse. 20 to go. Butler with a 4-point lead.
Welcome to the Jeep Grand Cherokee Halftime Report. Rob Stone with you inside our FS1 studios here in L.A., and we're at the break between Marquette and Butler. We'll get you back out to Indy shortly, but first, it's been more than 50 years since the passing of Martin Luther King Jr., and with MLK Day coming up on Monday, there couldn't be a better time to remember Dr. King's lasting legacy.
Dr. Martin Luther King had a huge impact on me. He just made me believe no matter what you do, anything is possible.
I think the legacy that he put in place means a lot to me because I always think about where we came from as people of color, as athletes of color, and I just try to make sure that whatever I'm doing now in the present is going to set up those for the future.
Being in the Big East is so diverse. Being at DePaul University is so diverse. So to come along and to share our talents is one of the messages that Martin Luther King shared with us, that we can all come together and be as one.
His willingness to sacrifice himself and, fight for others, that goes a long way for the future and anybody who wants to stand up for change and equality.
In honor of Dr. King this weekend, Big East players will wear shooting shirts that read, "We cannot walk alone," famous words from his historic I Have a Dream speech. Tomorrow, it's a men's basketball triple header on FS1. UConn visiting number 14 Villanova, then Marquette meets Georgetown. Number 25 Creighton, they look to bounce back as they meet Providence. Coverage begins 11:30 Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app. Second half between Marquette and Butler coming up next.
In an era
Big game Saturday tips off with a doubleheader beginning at 11:30 Eastern. Oh, a good one. First, it's number 18 Seton Hall battling St. John's at a Big East showdown. Then in the Pac-12, number 20 Colorado faces Arizona. Catch it all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Thank you for joining us on your Friday night. Matt Schumacher, Monica McNutt, and Monica. Let's just lay it out simply. Kristen Spoilier's been getting buckets like you used to back in the day.
I am flattered, Schumacher, but I don't know if I ever got into my bag the way Kristen Spoilier is in her bag. Right now, she is on, and there is no off switch, honey. Look at the way that she has been scoring the basketball. How many ways are there to score the basketball, Matt?
Well, she's making a lot of different ways.
Listen, let's just go with 4. Inside, outside, transition, right? That's 3. And then let's just go between defenders. Why don't we just make that the 4th one? She's given me each type of scoring. She's been so poised in her decision-making. She's taking her time. Here we get an offensive rebound and a stick back, and she has just been able to find the bottom of the net. And quite honestly, the Marquette Golden Eagles can't do nothing with her.
Here is our Jeep first half stat comparison brought to you by Jeep Grand Cherokee. What stands out to you here?
So in our open, we talked about transition and turnovers. Turnovers are even. We're only in a 4-point ball game, even though Kristen Spoilier has been lights out. 3-point shooting for Marquette, they only shoot about 32%, so I'm not super shocked by that, but they've got to hit more than none. 2 for 12 from the Golden Eagles, so the 3 hasn't been good to either team. But if you go down on points in the paint, ironically, Marquette is favored there.
Kristen Spoilier has made 10 of Butler's 11 field goals. She has been as on fire as it gets. More to come in the second half from the Bulldogs and Kristen Spoilier. Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. These pictures brought to you courtesy of the Indianapolis Museum of Art. I think our producer, Mark Bonk, is a bit of a Renaissance man, got lost in the art earlier today. He was supposed to be at Hinkle. He was taking pictures of all the beautiful art at the Indianapolis Art Museum. Dogs on top by 4. And basketball is all about having fun, right? It's not all business all the time. Well, Marquette has some of the best dancers, I think, in the Big East Conference. Look at this little tap dance right here.
I love it. Just lay out, everybody. Enjoy this. Hey, hey, hey. I love it. Let's dance. Here comes the best part, folks. Get ready. Get ready. Footwork. Here it is. Best part. Splash.
Cash.
We love it. Selena Lott and Chloe Murata bring you that, folks.
Both teams back to the
They want to see more of that from Selena Lott and Chloe Murata and really anybody on the team in this second half. Butler held them to under 35% shooting from the floor. This is a Marquette team that leads the conference in shooting percentage, 45%.
You're absolutely right, and we talked about contrasting styles. Butler in their last 2 ball games have held their opponents to under 37% and around 22%.
Lauren Van Clunen, these rims on this side a little more forgiving. She had a couple of bunnies that just didn't drop in the first half.
Is that why Kristen Spoiler could not miss?
Maybe. Shot clock issue, so Butler will take it out of bounds. Van Clunen now with 6.
One thing that I think I've heard a bunch across different leagues this season is this third quarter being a pivotal point in basketball games for either team, whether it's the team that's trailing or the team that has a lead.
Good take from Toure, drawing the foul, and she'll head to the line. You know, in that first half, Kristen Spoiler was 10 for 15. The rest of the team was 1 for 18. But perhaps getting to the line is one way that you can get some other players involved to begin the second half.
I'm 100% a believer of sometimes getting to the line helps get the lid off the basket. As we know, Tori comes up short on that particular free throw. But I also love the aggressiveness. She's playing big moments. That's what Kristen Spoiler told me. She's playing big minutes for a freshman.
And Kirk Godlewski said she's fearless. Sticks her nose in defensively. Will do what she's asked offensively. Just one of those players who says, Coach, what can I do?
That's how you stay on the floor, freshman. That's how you do it. What can I do?
What can Megan Duffy's team do to slow down Kristen Spoiler in the second half?
Well, Selena Lott is back to guarding her, but they are switching screens. This is a mismatch for Lauren Van Clunen. Back to Atia Anderson, who has the length and the foot speed and the footwork, quite honestly, to stay with her.
Bryant flashing, looking for Spoiler, knocked loose. Spoiler still. And the rebound hauled in by Van Clunen. And I believe that is the 3rd foul on Kristen Spoiler.
Lauren Van Clunen took a nasty fall there.
Her 3rd team's first.
Van Clunen very slow to get up, and now the training staff will come over. That's the 3rd foul on Kristen Spoiler.
If you're Spoiler, you got to be a little bit smarter than that. You are 90 feet away from the basket. Your team has a lead, and you've been vital. I don't know if there's a word that expresses a role bigger than vital, but you've been vital to this basketball game. You cannot afford to get into foul trouble.
Van Clunen just hit her tailbone hard on the hardwood.
Her feet taken out from under her.
Chance to reset for Megan Duffy's team. Van Clunen, though, one of the few upperclassmen for them. Redshirt junior, bleeds Marquette blue and gold. And, you know, Megan Duffy said one of the things she noticed right away when coming in to campus was the respect, but also the fun that the team had with Lauren Van Clunen. She said, I want to be part of that.
I mean, she's a kid. While her minutes and production have gone up this year, we talked about all that this Golden Eagle squad graduated. But even last year, she had a way of hitting timely buckets, cutting to the basket. She was sort of a release valve because all of those big-time 1,000-point scores garnered so much attention that she kind of went unguarded at points.
Getting up very gingerly, but nonetheless up on her 2 feet. And you just hope it's a bruise or the wind got knocked out of her or something along those lines. But she is walking off very gingerly, and she just means so much to this program, not just on the floor, but in the locker room, out of the facility. And now how do the Golden Eagles respond here?
She's so much experience. It looks like she's favoring that left foot, so our camera didn't really catch the foot work. I wonder if part of the reason she lost her balance is she came down on someone else's ankle, and it all sort of came undone with it. So she kind of went unguarded at points.
Getting up very gingerly, but nonetheless up on her 2 feet. And you just hope it's a bruise or the wind got knocked out of her or something along those lines. But she is walking off very gingerly, and she just means so much to this program, not just on the floor, but in the locker room, out of the facility. And now how do the Golden Eagles respond here?
She's so much experience. It looks like she's favoring that left foot, so our camera didn't really catch the foot work. I wonder if part of the reason she lost her balance is she came down on someone else's ankle, and it all sort of came undone with it.
So she will head to the sideline and get treatment from the training staff. And now it's Selena Lott and Altia Anderson. Perhaps this woman right here has been go off the mark and into the hands of Kristen Spolier. Spingola still over from downtown. King rips down the board.
That is unlike her, but I tell you what, shooters have to shoot to get hot, and shooters have to shoot to stay hot.
How about that rejection from Toure?
Yeah, big time rejection. Marquette looking to find a little bit of rhythm. Toure, off ball.
Anderson through traffic. Anderson has 9.
She's got such great bounce. I mean, the way she's able to split defenders around the rim is almost unfathomable.
It's something we didn't see from her in the first 3 seasons on campus. She's just got so much more confident with the ball in her hands.
Yeah, and Megan definitely took that very personal in terms of instilling confidence in these players because they didn't see very much time.
Back the other way comes Genesis Parker. Toure, transition 3, wide out.
That's something that I love, Schumacher. I actually thought that Parker was going to go the other way to Shea Bry, who was running with her.
Not going to play, it'll stay here.
Marquette's got to do a little bit more of this, getting the ball into the paint. I would keep going back to Altia Anderson, who splits defenders and scores. And then Genesis Parker pushing the tempo in transition. Ooh, I love a 3 in transition. It's my favorite.
I'm with you there.
My favorite.
King tries a corner 3. Boy, Murata ripping it down. Second chance, no. And Spolier again, and that time draws a foul. Spolier has 9 boards, 1 away from a double-double.
Man, she is... wow. She's going to have a double-double. I wonder if she'll go for a career high in scoring.
Her career high is 37. And that came against Detroit earlier this year in the non-conference.
See, that's why you're the play-by-play guy, because I read that and thought it was January 19th. Not November 19th. Great ball movement there. Nauticus there is slipping and scoring.
Spingola. Tipped out by Spolier into the hands of Jordan King, and a fresh shot clock for Marquette, who is 0 for 8 from downtown.
There's Altia Anderson working. I would continue to go to her.
Slips around Saris. A thing of beauty from Altia Anderson. She's in double figures.
For as dismal an offensive performance Marquette may feel that they've had, they are certainly still in this ballgame.
And an offensive foul on Butler.
All right, so here's some good passing. Genesis Parker to Kristen Spolier. Beautiful touch pass over the defense. Then Anderson establishing her position right around that restricted arc. 2 dribbles and a score.
Third foul on Toure, and so now foul trouble becomes a bit of a factor for Butler. Spolier with 3, Toure with 3.
Toure is necessary defensively. It's kind of been her and Spolier in front of Selena a lot as Jordan King finally finds the bottom of the net.
3-point basket for King.
She was a 2,500 career point scorer in high school. In a bit of a different role in her freshman season at Marquette, but nonetheless can score the rock. And how about Toure getting the shot?
Wow, that was an impressive take by the freshman. She had Spolier in the corner. She had someone on the opposite block, but she's able to finish in traffic.
Bry to Spolier. Scoop to the hoop. How about it?
Great body control. I was concerned that she was about to plow into Cameron Taylor, but she maintained her position. This is a tough draw.
And a foul on Shea Bry.
Yeah, that's a tough draw, especially when Tia Anderson is moving and gets to that position. Here's Toure. Man, what great body control, touch off the glass, and then here's transition basketball. Under control, not gonna pick up this charge. Are we on Kristen Spolier alert? How many more points before a new career high? 12, okay.
Not out of the realm of possibility.
Not at all.
Lott step through. How about that composure from the junior?
We've seen her do that a couple times. When she can get to the middle of the paint, coming down the front of the rim, she's got great touch there. She's able to split defenders, and she's confident in that move. Caceres working.
She's in double figures. Caceres on Anderson. Forced a wild shot. Here comes Marquette. Lott keeping it in bounds. The shimmy to Taylor, in and out.
Marquette, they struggled in the first half trying to find their scoring notch. It would help if this young lady could do some more of that. Selena Lott for 2. Kiss off the glass.
Sunday with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. Aaron Rodgers leads the Packers against Jimmy G and the 49ers. The NFC Championship presented by Intuit TurboTax kicks off Sunday, 6 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And Monica, you talked about the parity in the Big East Women's Basketball Conference. How about the parity in the NFC?
Well, look at that.
In the last 8 years, only one team has won more than once, and that was the Seahawks in back-to-back seasons in 2013 and 14. Our director, Jess Eichhorst, big-time Packers fan, he's hoping Aaron Rodgers can do it again. What do you think?
About that game?
Yes.
Let me think. All right, hold on. Let me really think.
Jimmy G, Aaron Rodgers, Packers, 49ers. That's a classic.
I think it's going to be a really good game. I know football purists. I was never sold on the 49ers, and here they are. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of Preston Smith. Preston Smith used to be a Washington football team member. So I'm going to go with Preston Smith and the Packers.
Oh, wow. Jess Sidekors likes that one.
Shout out to you, Jess. Let's make sure our show looks good. Woo! Hey, I'm sorry, folks. I'm having an outburst to our producer in my ear. Let's get back to basketball, Matt. Let's get this train back on the rails.
Butler on top by 2. Marquette has not shot the ball nearly as good as they have throughout the course of the season, and yet it's a one-possession game. Taylor with 2 on the timer. Spingola finally finds the bottom of the cup for a long 2.
This is why shooters shoot to stay hot and shooters shoot to get hot. You cannot doubt yourself. You got to continue taking that shot, if for no other reason than to keep the defense honest.
Tied at 38. Under 4 to play in the third quarter. Kristen Spolier had 25 points. And there's one off the glass, but she's whistled for the charge, and that is her 4th.
That is a tough call as well, as Selena Lott is running down the floor clapping, because that's 4 on Spolier. I disagree with that call. Outside of the restricted area, I think that's just a little bit of basketball contact. I thought both players were under control on that one, so that's a big deal for Butler.
Completely changes the game. Spolier has 25 of Butler's 38 points and had 23 of their 26 going into the halftime break. And there's a slip underneath. Off the mark, Murata, a second chance, and it bounces home, and it's the first lead of the night for Marquette since it was 2-0 in the first quarter.
This is big girl pants time for Butler. You're missing your star. Someone else has to step up. And if no one else steps up offensively, you've at least got to commit defensively not to allow Marquette to score off simple slips and cuts.
Catstrong too heavy, following her miss. The fadeaway J rattles out. And into the hands of Chloe Murata, who's played big minutes for Marquette tonight.
Sticking with it, offensive rebounds and putback. We just saw that last score from Murata. She also does a great job of working in that paint. You see there posting and reposting to try to create some inside action. This UCLA cut, Jordan King manages to keep the dribble alive. The inside pass to Murata, offensive rebound, and a putback. Butler cannot afford to allow the Golden Eagles to get second chance opportunities, particularly as most of their scoring is on the bench now.
Strong, long 2. And there is Murata again cleaning it up off the glass. Here comes Lott. And Strong knocks it out of play. Transition defense from Catstrong.
Yeah, she got there. She's got to continue to play confident on both ends of the floor. She did a great job of getting in position here, Selena Lott was unable to finish.
Marquette on a 6-0 run. Conversely, Butler over 3.5 minutes without a field goal.
We talked about that third quarter, what it would mean. Oh,
Too
man.
easy for Taylor off the glass.
Textbook execution. Cameron Taylor, that pass wasn't even that high. Taylor was just open.
Big-bodied freshman Taylor, 6'2", out of Peoria, Illinois. Very excited about her prospects in a Marquette uniform.
A lot to be excited about. She had a great game last time out.
Gattuso trying to stop the 8-0 run, and she does get into the cup.
Big time basket there.
The freshman Lubo runs the point.
Look at Butler's hands in their defense. Now, they're playing man-to-man, but Marquette is a very willing and able passing team. They're going to have to get their hands up to disrupt some potential passing lanes and also be mindful of the back cuts and the slips by the Golden Eagles. Good possession there as Catstrong comes up with the defensive rebound.
And now Tori slows it down for Butler. Driving baseline into the hands of Lubo, and here she comes. She wants to go quickly.
A little bit ahead of herself on that one for Tori. You got to understand time and score. Didn't necessarily need that there because it wasn't a clean look.
Inside to Taylor, finishing.
Good job, Cam.
Rolls off the rim, but she'll have a chance at 2 shots.
This is the inbounds play. This pass really isn't even that high. There's just no hands, not really a ton of awareness, and Cameron Taylor is so quick. And then Tori Atuso attacking Upe Atuso, able to finish in traffic. But I think we've got a little bit more foul trouble to be concerned with, Matt.
Yeah, Butler does have a real problem on their hands. Toure's out with 4, Spolier's out with 4. Those two have been the engine that has made this offense go so far tonight.
Saris in for Toure for Butler.
Fortunate the third quarter is winding down, but I'll be curious to see what Coach Godleski's strategy is on foul trouble, as we'll have a fresh 10 once this quarter ends.
One possession game.
Butler's got to dribble the basketball with some purpose here.
Inside to Bry. Good feed from Catstrong.
Beautiful ball movement. Bryce set that initial screen, and although Genesis Parker didn't come hard off it, she slipped. And then Catstrong recognized that the Marquette defense had not yet recovered.
About a 3-second differential between game and shot clock. Spingola, long 2. And a foul on the floor goes against Nauticus Saris.
Yeah, she kind of was just sliding with Cameron Taylor as opposed to establishing a true box out. A little ticky-tack to me, but I'm not wearing the stripes.
She's shooting. Once again, Taylor's going to the line to shoot 2.
So everybody's going after this rebound. I guess she got her arm up around Cameron's shoulder. Can't quite get the action that high. Can maybe not ticky-tack.
Cameron coming off a career high, 23 points and 11 boards against Seton Hall. Starting to find her role within the offense midway through the season.
Yeah, Coach Duffy said, that's my X factor. If I can get that kind of production out of her, oh, man.
Here comes the substitution.
She's somebody that the assistants were really high on. And, of course, the assistants who recruited her ended up going with Carolyn Keeger to Penn State. But Marquette maintained some of their assistants, Scott Merritt and Vernette Skeet. And they told Coach Duffy, look, this is a player to watch. Cameron Taylor, she can get buckets. Parker, 3 on the timer. Strong a long 3. And that is how we end the third quarter. Marquette, a 3-point lead. They hadn't led since 2-0 to start the contest. They carry a 1-possession lead into the fourth quarter. Stick around, folks. We got a good one brewing here in Indianapolis. A battle for a top 3 spot in conference. Marquette Golden Eagles on top by 3, hoping to extend the win streak to 4 and do more of this post-game. Been a lot of happy locker rooms after Marquette games lately.
I feel so much pressure because I don't know my fight song.
I didn't want to throw you under the bus, but you just did it to yourself.
Nope.
But you know what? I'm there with you because I know about 3 words of my
I was literally like,
what
is our fight song?
All right, start of the 4th quarter. Butler without Christian Spolier and without Toure, and a turnover right into the hands of Selena Lott, coast to coast.
That is the area in which she excels. Great way to see her start the 4th quarter if you're pulling for the Golden Eagles.
Christian Spolier has been the catalyst for Butler's offense. How do they get something going without her in the lineup?
Well, when they pass the ball well, and the slipping screens and sort of dragging has served them well in the second half in Spolier's absence. That last basket, I believe that was by Bray before we got to the 4th quarter. On the other end, though, Matt, you and I both love some transition. This is pretty simple and straightforward.
13 points off turnovers tonight for Marquette. That's been a huge difference. Butler with just 6. Bry backing in, high off the glass and good.
She gets the friendly bounce using the glass. Butler's showing, or they actually are in a 2-3 zone now, which makes sense because Altia Anderson and Cameron Taylor, when she was in the game, they were killing them diving. Although the weak side action just now from Isabel Spingola, excuse me. Ball movement is imperative to the offense of both of these teams. Off the inbounds here, Shea Bry.
Shea Bry needs to be a difference maker in the 4th quarter. Butler in foul trouble, but hanging tough. A 1-possession game at Hinkle Fieldhouse. If you're a Butler fan, that is not where you want to see Kristen Spoliar. 25 points, but relegated to the bench with 4 fouls, which she picked up late in the third quarter. Toure also on the bench with 4 fouls. And you wonder when Kurt Godlewski is going to roll the dice and put them back into the ball game.
It's still, like you mentioned, a one-possession ball game, so this thing is not out of hand. Great defense.
Lot deflected by Saris, and now here come the Bulldogs. Genesis Parker runs the point. The transfer from Cincinnati. Bryant. Atuso draws contact and a foul.
Good attack by Upe Atuso. Butler is going to have to be mindful to play north and south. They've got to put pressure on Marquette, especially in that paint. Atuso coming off that screen, a slight hesitation. Jordan King can't beat her to the spot. Great job of pressing the issue.
Second foul on King.
Genesis Parker's going to have to create some space and get clear of Selena Lott on the inbounds.
Marquette, no foul trouble, but they have played basically the whole second half without Lauren Van Clunen, who went down with an apparent injury. And here's Selena Lott getting into the passing lanes and getting to the bucket.
That's just a bad inbounds play. You can't bounce the ball inbounds when you've got someone hawking your guard that you're trying to get the ball to.
Lott with 14, 2 shy of her season average. Down to Strong, too heavy. On the follow, good.
Great pass. You know, Coach G mentioned, we mentioned that this was the anniversary for Catstrong. You wonder if she's in her head a little bit. I know I personally, you hate to see a kid kind of stifled by their past, but good to see her stay engaged in this ballgame.
Had a season-ending knee injury in January of last year. Has averaged double figures in Big East play in 4 out of 5 games. And gets all the way to the rack and draws a foul.
All right, so Selena Lott locked in. We talked about her offensively. Transition, a little defense leading to some offense. All alone, she's able to finish. And then on the other end, in the half-court set, Catstrong, great pass inside. If at first you don't succeed, follow it up and try again.
Catstrong, the redshirt senior, transfer from VCU.
She also, did you check this out, Matt? She's responsible for the playlist a lot of the time. This is a team that practices with music at shoot-around, at practice, when the girls are in here just getting their shots up. Apparently when it's just shots, it's R&B. But when
you gotta have good tunes.
Right. And so these are the artists that Cat's going with for the Pandora radio stations right now. Both babies, Da Baby, Lil Baby. I am not familiar with Black Youngster. The other two I knew.
Making us feel old over here.
Hey, I thought I was hip. Listen, leave some things to the youngsters. We are hip. Don't you let anybody tell you otherwise, Schumacher.
Marquette hanging on to a 2-point lead. Kristen Spoliar has checked back in with 4 fouls, as has Toure. And Kristen, no, that was Shea Bry reaching in, and that's her 3rd foul.
That's a tough call. Bry, she did the right thing. She came baseline. She got her right hand out to disrupt the pass, but she had her left hand on the back, and that's where the foul was called.
Looking for Taylor, had it jarred loose. King, spot up 3. And how about the hustle from Lott, saving it for Marquette?
I wasn't sure about the change in the offseason where the shot clock goes back to 20 instead of a full reset, but I like it. I think it keeps the game moving.
Late in the timer again. Deflected into the hands of Shea Bry and finishes with Lott right on her hip.
Fantastic defense, a great finish, because you're right, Selena Lott was right there. Great focus, and then Lott opting not to give up the foul in that situation. Oh, man, I love it when we got a tie ball game, 7 minutes to go.
49 all, under 7 to play. Anderson out to King.
Tia Anderson has to turn and look at that run. That pass would have still been there, but she's got to keep the defense honest.
Good feed into Taylor. Second chance. Ball on the floor. Anderson scoops and draws a foul.
So this defense is important because it was after a reset on that shot clock, and it was rather late into that. And then Shea Bryce sticking with this one, able to finish, just moving. When Butler is playing their best defense, it almost looks as if they're connected on a string.
Oh, I like that.
Connected on a string?
That's right. Anderson's been connected tonight. 11 points, 6 boards.
You're absolutely right about that, which is why before that shot went up, and both she and Cameron Taylor took the shot, and then we got offensive rebounds. But instead of turning and facing the rim at that high post position, she just kicked the ball out to Jordan King on the wing. You got to turn and shoot. She can hit that shot.
A pair of misses and a foul. And it goes against the freshman Cameron Taylor.
Foul is on Marquette, number 15, Cameron Taylor. Her second, team's third.
Team's third foul. And here is Toure playing with 4 fouls.
Now watch the screen and replace action for this Butler Bulldog squad.
Good defense. Anderson using that length to get into the passing lane.
Yeah, and she straight up read the play. Kristen Spolier was coming off of a double stack screen on the block. Anderson didn't even lock and trail. She just jumped out in front.
Kristen Spolier has only taken 3 shots this half.
She's only been on the floor for, what, 3 minutes in the fourth? Or no, in the half. Excuse me. Wow.
Foul trouble has really changed the dynamic of this game. Good slip into Bry, off the mark and into the hands of Lott.
Man, there's some really sharp passing around the rim and awareness, but you gotta finish those. Butler in that 2-3 zone.
Kick ball. It'll stay right here.
Here's the passing that we're talking about here. Butler does a good job of keeping the ball alive. We'll see that in a second. There it is. Shea Bry, hesitation, keep the ball alive. Passing to a cutting Saris.
And now Spingola wide open. Corner pocket.
Marquette is really good off inbounds plays. They execute very, very well.
Her first 3 of the night, and it's a big one. Marquette back on top by a possession.
Butler's got to be careful when they're setting these screens to be still. They're teetering in the danger zone in terms of getting called for some illegal screens.
Saris defended by Anderson. Left hand short. And now the freshman Jordan King.
Saris is just a step too far away from the basket for that little hook shot that she likes. Got to take one more dribble.
Shea Bry deflecting out of bounds. We stay here.
She does a great job of coming around when she keeps her hands off inbounds plays. I mean, wow.
That's pretty.
That's, yeah. Defensively, Butler fell asleep on that one. Watch Selena Lott going right back to her.
Taylor coughs it up. Body's on the floor. Lott thought she had it out of there, but instead it's a jump ball. Stays with Marquette, and 20 back on the shot clock.
Substitution, Chloe Marana back into the Golden Eagles, replacing Cameron Taylor.
Chloe Marana comes back in.
Here's another inbound play. Yep. Butler's got to be keenly aware. It looks like they are in a man this time, and Toure is sort of under the basket playing, I hate to use the term safety in the spirit of football, but she's going to be sort of your free range a little bit.
Well, Marquette's drawn up a couple of really good out-of-bounds plays.
They are great out of bounds. Megan Duffy's fantastic on inbounds.
There is Lauren Van Clunen. Glad to see her back on the bench. She went down earlier in this ball game hard on her backbone. And we haven't seen her since until now. Vocal leader of this team, back on the bench.
Good ball fake by Tia Anderson.
7 on the timer. Knocked out by Catstrong. Lott with the left.
Tough call.
She heads to the line for 2 shots.
That's a tough call going against Catstrong, I believe. So Altia Anderson, I love this pump fake. The pitch to your shooter. The ball is moving. Great defense here by Butler, but Selena Lott's going to the line.
It's been a tight contest all night tonight at Hinkle Fieldhouse. One-possession game. Marquette and Butler battling to get into that top three in the Big East women's basketball standings. There hasn't been a ton of scoring tonight. Butler has gotten it primarily from Kristen Spolier. And for Marquette, it's been Selena Lott. But partner in the second half, Spolier has just 2 points. She scored 23 in the first half. Foul trouble has really changed the dynamic of this game.
Foul trouble was huge, but I would credit Butler for managing to keep this thing that close, because when she went out, there was some real concern that they would go on a drought that would allow Marquette to take a lead, and that has not been the case. So, credit their defense. They talked about that win against Georgetown. Although the scoring was anemic, they were reminded of the power of their defense and that they can win ugly.
Butler on a 2-minute, 10-second scoring drought. How can they get Kristen Spolier involved here to close out the fourth?
Well, they got her coming off a screen. That's a good start. I would want to put her in a position. What in the world? What happened there?
And Catstrong can't do anything but smile.
Wait a minute. What is going on here? Okay, so inbounds pass. Altia Anderson is long and in the mid. Okay, all right. Butler ball? Yes?
Yes, went off of Anderson.
Here's Butler's opportunity to execute off the inbounds. Good screen by Catstrong.
Looking for Spolier. Instead it goes out to Bry. And tipped out of play. It'll stay right here. 10 on the timer for Butler.
I get what Bry was looking to do, to go over and get the ball to Catstrong, but that pass is way off.
Bry tries a three and rattles it home.
Switch up the play call. I'm not going to pass. This time I'm going to shoot. I like it.
9 points for Bry. Butler within 1.
All right, so Butler is back in a man-to-man, though. Causing some disruption out front. So much action. Shea Bry. What really worked was that she set that up on the block as if she was going for a lob, and then she broke free for that shot, and it was cash money.
Godlewski, final message to his team. Down 1 here with just over 4 minutes left in the fourth. And like many conferences across the country at this point in the season, all jammed up in the Big East. These two teams tied at 3-2 in league play.
Yeah, it's a big weekend for both squads, but it starts right here. As we know, that Friday-Sunday rhythm. But it starts right here. This really can set the tempo for one of these squads' weekend.
Shea Bry with 9 points, all of her 9, in fact, in the last 6 minutes.
Catstrong is really working.
Backing down Anderson. Spolier forces a shot, draws the foul on Lott.
I thought she was about to twist her ankle, so good balance, good recovery. And then check this out. So Catstrong picked up her dribble a little early. Oh, almost an ankle injury, but not quite. Spolier this time does draw the foul on Selena Lott defending, and she's able to break that verticality.
Spolier's taken more free throw attempts than anybody in the Big East Conference.
That's that bully ball. That's where to get you.
Really good free throw shooter, typically 80%, and missed them both.
You wonder if she's a little bit cold. Well, no, she can't be cold. She's been in the game the last 5 minutes.
Still a 1-point Butler deficit.
Butler sticking with their man.
Anderson dumps down to Murata. How about that off the back iron?
Marquette loves that two-man game, but we've seen that on both sides today. Looks right around the rim. For whatever reason, they don't fall in.
Near misses have plagued Marquette around the rim tonight. 37% from the floor.
I thought you said that was a friendlier basket, partner.
I thought so. Spolier again drawing a foul, and she heads back to the free throw line.
Selena Lott has her hands full. I think an underrated aspect of Kristen Spolier's game is her footwork and her strength. Holds on to the basketball, under control. She's just strong. She's just strong. She's able to absorb contact and score between defenders, and in that instant, earns herself a trip to the free throw line. Sort of caught Lott off guard.
One for 5 from the free throw line tonight. Kristen Spolier having an uncommonly poor night at the free throw line.
That is unusual for her. Remember, she hit a big free throw, a big 3, and then a big free throws against Georgetown to help Butler steal that win down in McDonough.
Good hands from Parker. Lott doubled, throws it away into the hands of Bry. Butler has a chance to regain the lead.
This will be a sequence that will be pivotal if Butler is leading at the end of this ball game. We talked about turnovers in our open.
Back to the Golden Eagles.
I love Genesis Parker sliding on the ground and get out the way to make sure that ball didn't hit her. No matter, still will be Marquette's ball, but that was quick thinking on her part.
Marquette on a 2 minutes and counting scoring drought.
So Butler's showing that 2-3 zone again. They've been sort of alternating between the man and the zone. Marquette putting one of their bigs in that high post, trying to get that two-man game.
Taylor, King for 3. And into the hands of Althea Anderson. Now Lott on the second chance. And Tori finally hauls it down for Butler. Strong a bit gimpy. She's behind the play. And Kurt Godlewski has called a timeout.
30-second timeout, Dogs.
Tied at 53 in Indianapolis, under 2 to play. 53, Megan Duffy, Kurt Godlewski, and their respective squads battling for a spot in the top 3 in the Big East Women's Basketball Conference, both riding 3-game win streaks. They play some tough basketball here tonight.
This has been a great conference basketball game. It's teams that know one another's style, and they have quite honestly done a good job of executing defensively to disrupt it, particularly on Butler's end.
Marquette won for its last 7 from the floor. Butler can regain the lead here.
Defensively, Marquette, you've got to be mindful of that over-the-top pass.
Parker driving off the side of the backboard, and a foul on the floor against Marquette.
It looks like that one is going to go against Cameron Taylor. Decanter signaling for a push. Attempting to rebound the basketball. Oh, man. That's a tough one.
So Genesis Parker at the line, 63% free throw shooter. Butler, 7 for 15 from the line tonight as a team.
Oh, that's 50%. That's, no. Missed free throws. It's one of my pet peeves.
Typically, they're shooting just below 70% for the season. Cool, calm, and collected. It goes down for Parker.
Slightly unorthodox. Slightly, ever so slightly.
A lot of points left on the table at this drive.
Both teams. Gee whiz, both these teams shooting 50% today? Ish.
Back to a 2-point lead for the Butler Bulldogs.
And back to a man-to-man. So it looks like Butler's going make man, miss zone.
This is Selena Lott time. And she's tied up by Kristen Spolier. Great defense by the Butler senior. And it goes back to the Dogs.
A gutsy play by Spolier to reach her hands in there, considering that she has 4 fouls. She got all ball. It is a jump ball indeed. Man.
That takes some courage reaching in there with 4 fouls.
Big time.
She and Toure with the ball now, playing with 4 fouls, and they've done so for most of the 4th quarter.
I love this wheel action play from Butler. Caceres that time opting to swing and rotate, but sometimes they get that second person coming off the wheel that's wide open for a 3.
Caceres, baseline.
This is a moment in which the Bulldogs are growing up. They're showing great poise as we come down to the wire in this basketball game.
And Megan Duffy calls a timeout. Her team down 4. Here's that last bucket from Nauticus.
It's fantastic execution, and Caceres attacks baseline. She's poised, and she just finishes in traffic. Beautiful ball movement. Spingola just a step too far back to disrupt, allowed Caceres to get that ball up on the glass and finish. And you see her there say, I got 20. So she's going to come out and be guarding Anderson. Butler will show a man on this possession. Now you can bet that Megan Duffy is drawing up something that will provide more than one option. You probably will see something attacking the paint, putting pressure on this defense, but then either Spingola or King, if she's on the floor, as an outlet in terms of the penetrate and kick to get a quality shot. And you got to have confidence to let it rip.
Butler on an 8-0 run. Marquette won for its last 7. Lott with 15.
You know, she loves attacking that middle.
Anderson backing down Bry. Tough bucket, and they had to get it.
That's one that you put your nasty face on for. That was a big-time bucket by Altia Anderson.
She now has 13. More than double her season average. She's come up big tonight against Butler.
Here's that wheel action again. Caceres open. She's not taking it. I'm surprised.
Spolier really in a dogfight down low with the freshman Jordan King. Late in the shot clock. Bry with 4. Baseline off the mark. And it did not hit
wow.
the rim, so the shot clock did not reset, and now Marquette has a chance to tie.
Wow. Wow. Did it? Are we sure it didn't hit the rim? I mean, I'm not wearing the stripes. I can't say. Oh, man.
And Kurt Godlewski wants the referees to take another look at this.
Oh, man. That's close. I couldn't tell from our angle.
Obviously a huge call in this game, the biggest to this point.
Big time. It's not the ball game, but pretty close. The ball does not redirect as if it hit the rim. I can't tell.
Doesn't look like it from that angle, at least.
I can't tell. You know, I appreciate the officials wanting to get it right, and this is a big-time moment. But I believe the thought process is if they do not find evidence to overturn it, then it will stand. Let's see if we get it from this opposite camera angle.
I think it just misses by a hair.
I can't tell. Yeah, that may have not hit the rim.
To me, there's no redirect there.
Yeah, I agree.
On the ball, so it leads me to believe that the officials got it right the first time.
Yeah.
Such a bang play.
I agree. It just kind of, if anything, it hits the bottom of the rim or bottom of the board again. Yeah.
Have we seen tonight?
Oh, sorry. That was not a TV noise. We've seen a lot of near misses tonight. In case that folks at home are wondering what that was. That's my reaction to the near misses.
Referee's just taking one more look at it. Although Marquette has lined up in the offensive end, believing that they have. And so we did just get official word that the ball did not hit the rim. And so now they're looking at the clock. Currently 23.2 seconds left.
So is the shot clock stalled though? Okay.
Surely they'll be putting a little bit more time on the clock.
I tell you what, in this moment, I appreciate my seat and that I'm not wearing stripes. No pressure. Decanter is one of the best in the business, though. Referees both on the collegiate level, the WNBA level. She was doing her thing when I was still hooping. I trust her.
Been to the Final Four quite a few times. Frank Sterator, Brandon Enterline, Decanter.
This is very serious. Coach Godleski's looks like he's telling his team to call a timeout.
And the shot clock has gone back to 23.7, so they put 0.5 back on the floor.
Now,
on the clock, rather.
Right, and so we had all this review, but there was no timeout, so there's no advancing the ball.
And so Marquette will take it out under its own basket here.
Marquette looked a little bit confused there, which is not good. Hope they lock in here.
Marquette down by a possession, shot clock turned off.
You got to get a shot up by 10 so you have an opportunity at an offensive rebound.
Anderson with the left around Saris, leaves it short. Rebound Saris, Butler basketball.
Perfectly executed by Marquette. Credit Butler and Nauticus Saris for outstanding defense. Butler, we keep talking about them being attached on a string, and that's what we saw here. We know that Marquette loves that high-low action. Althea Anderson looked at Cameron Taylor. Caceres moves her feet, avoids the foul. Just not enough from Althea Anderson, to get the basket to fall, but great defense by Butler, clogging the paint.
Butler called a timeout on the rebound. They have one remaining, Marquette with two.
Marquette has to foul.
Have to at this point, right?
Yeah, there's not enough time. There's no reason for Butler to rush. Marquette has to foul.
Butler will get it at half court, side out of bounds.
The advance. Now, both of these teams have not shot well from the free throw line, so you run your risk there.
Butler at under 53% as a team tonight from the stripe. They get it into Kristen Spolier, who has historically been one of the best free throw shooters on the team. But tonight that has not been the story. Fourth foul on Selena Lott. Kristen Spolier 2 for 6 from the stripe.
Are you surprised?
No, I am not.
Shaking it off. We'll make it a two-possession game. I won't say it's the ball game, but pretty close.
She had missed her last 4. And calmly knocks down the two biggest shots of the game. And now a timeout for Marquette. So if you're Megan Duffy here and you're down 2 possessions, do you go for a quick 3 or you go for anything you can get your hands on?
I'm attacking them. That's tough. I think if you get a quick 2, you take a quick 2. If you have a better look at 3, but tonight they've been a bit cold from behind the arc, so you risk playing your numbers. But whatever it is, it obviously has to be very quick. It'll be interesting to see what Butler shows defensively. Maybe this is an instance where you almost, man, you look for something toward the rim. You've got Cameron Taylor on the floor. She's athletic. Or it's going to be Spingola coming off of a screen. Whatever it is, it's going to be quick.
Jordan King passes it into Lott. Driving baseline. Reverse, no good. Ball on the deck. Rebound, Bry, and she calls a timeout. And that should just about wrap it up for the Dogs. And how about the defense? It's been their calling card all season. They've leaned on it again tonight.
Kristen told me before the game, when we're locked in defensively and focused on our game plan, all over Selena Lott, without fouling. Toure comes down for the help. Offensive rebounding could have got a little bit tricky, but their white jerseys in there scrambling for the basketball, and ultimately they come up with it.
Megan Duffy told us this afternoon they fully expected it to be a log jam in the paint all night long against Butler. And again, Butler holding its opponent under 60 points.
I think it's one thing to understand that as a coach who's had years in the game and had a playing career of her own. But this group, this makeup, led by Lott and led by Anderson and Spingola, this is the first time that they've played this amount of minutes against this stout Butler defense.
That was the 4th block of the night for Nauticus Saris.
She's been fantastic.
Total team effort on the defensive end.
This Butler team, they know their roles so well.
They lost 2 1,000-point scorers from last season, plus their starting point guard and Big East Defensive Player of the Year, and they're about to win their 4th straight Big East game. Picked 7th in the preseason. And a quick foul will send Spolier to the free throw line. Spolier has a chance to get to 30 points. Lott fouls out with her 5th.
Even if she were to miss both of these, 1.1 is obviously, at the risk of stating the obvious, not a lot of time. I think there's, if you're Megan Duffy, there is a lot to be pleased with. I mean, this game started on a bit of a drought for Marquette. They were unable to score. They stayed with it. Your shooters didn't have their greatest shooting night, but in big-time moments, they hit some big-time shots. There's some pivotal turnovers. That turnover with about 2:38 to go in the 4th in particular stands out.
30-point night for Kristen Spolier and another Butler win. Their 4th straight in Big East play. Your biggest takeaway from the Dogs win tonight?
The Butler Bulldogs defense is real. Even though Kristen Spolier carried them at the beginning of the basketball game, their defense did it for them tonight.
Defense wins out for Butler, holding another opponent under 60 points. 4 straight Big East wins for the Bulldogs, and they find themselves in the top 3 in conference play after being picked 7th to start the season. Dogs roll 61-55 in Indianapolis. For Mark Bolk, Monica McNutt, and our entire Fox crew, I'm Matt Schumacher saying so long from Indianapolis.